I was born in New York City in the spring of 1963, and I came of age in the mid-1970s in Florida during a sexual revolution I didn't participate in. An altar boy raised Catholic in a large working-class family, by the time I was 13, I was an isolated, badly dressed kid in the throes of a confusing hormonal storm, struggling to understand who and what I was and what I wasn't. I knew I was different, defective even, and I didn't see myself reflected anywhere in popular culture. And I didn't identify with those men who sparked an uncomfortable glimmer of recognition. There was no Rosie or Ellen or Will and Grace then. I had Charles Nelson Riley and Paul Lynde delivering snarky punchlines on daytime game shows. The culture I grew up in told me that being gay was bad, depraved, and dangerous. And as a teenager, I wasn't thinking we and us. I was thinking them, whom I most definitely did not want to be. When I was 14, I watched with a creeping sense of dread as wholesome, orange juice drinking Anita Bryant, who referred to gays as human garbage, ran the Save Our Children campaign to uphold discrimination based on sexual orientation. It was the same year Florida legislatures approved a measure prohibiting gay adoption. And the same year, I stopped going to confession and attending Mass. When I was 15, San Francisco Mayor George Moscone and openly gay city supervisor Harvey Milk were assassinated. At 16, the man who killed them was acquitted of first-degree murder. The same year, a California ballot initiative sought to ban gays and lesbians from working in public schools. At 17, Ronald Reagan defeated Jimmy Carter by, in part, campaigning that Carter catered to homosexuals. At 18, the news was full of frightening stories about a new gay cancer that the Reverend Jerry Falwell, founder of the Moral Majority, said wasn't just God's punishment for homosexuals. It was God's punishment for a society that tolerated them. So by the time I was 19, a celibate, self-hating sophomore, it seemed my friends were all in sexual relationships, but the very idea of sex with anyone was unnerving and potentially fatal. After college, I began my career, I dated women, and at 24, I moved in with a woman who pursued me and claimed to appreciate my ambiguities. We shared a house, and then we shared a bed. We shared cats and a dog and friends and many candlelit dinners, and we were very happy for a time. When I was 27, we married, and I was relieved to feel so normal and to have achieved the life I was told I should want. I was a married man with a mortgage and a lawn to mow. My wife and I had believed that love would conquer all, but we were living a kind of lie, and after 8 years together, we took it all apart. During those years and in the years since, attitudes and the cultural landscape changed dramatically, becoming more accepting of gay women and men, electing them to office, and reflecting them, us, in Hollywood films and on television shows that no longer reduced us to criminals or punchlines. By the time I reached 40, I'd become more accepting of myself, happily settled in a loving relationship with the man I'd ultimately marry, a privilege, and perhaps more important, a constitutional right granted us by the grace of a single Supreme Court vote. A vote connected by a long, battered thread to the men and women who raised hell and energized a movement on that long-ago summer night at the Stonewall Inn. So I'm not living the life that I dreamt of, the life that I once wanted so badly. But these days and nights, I'm living honestly as myself, no longer cloaked in shame, and that's something I couldn't have ever imagined as a kid. And for that, I am grateful.